I dey feel like Declan Rice. Reload, do like Declan Rice. Go to war, do like Declan Rice. Give me one problem, do like Declan Rice. Anytime I come.
Let's go. 2025, I'm talking about.
Welcome back, everybody, to Clinical F.C. I'm your host, Dr. Yo. I hope everybody's doing well. Back again today. Back with the biggest one of them all. The biggest one of them all. As an Arsenal fan, we used to pray for times like this. We used to pray for times where we could rhyme like this, like 100 M's plus 5 mil. Declan Rice is coming to the carpet. I was always confident this was going to happen. Hearing about him choosing Arsenal and not wanting anybody else, that always made me confident. I know people tried to create a saga, media, West Ham fans tried to create a saga where, he might be going to City, but he always said he was coming here. So, not only is Declan Rice coming to Arsenal, he's coming to Arsenal for the British transfer record. British transfer record. I cannot even believe I'm saying that, to be honest, because nobody ever thought this day would come. But in my opinion, is an amount of money that we had to pay. There's no excuse for us not to do it. We're not paying off any stadium. We're not stuck in a 11-year takeover process anymore. We've gotten rid of all most of our dead wood from our first initial splurge of transfers, the Lacazettes, the Aubameyang, the Socrates, the Mustafis, those people. We've cleared off most of them. So if there's any summer we were gonna put this type of money on the table, it was gonna be this one. Back in Champions League for the first time in 6-7 years, it had to be this one. Me personally, I have to give credit. Every member of the recruitment team, they stayed calm throughout the whole process. They went with a low bid to start it off. People were saying, it's disrespectful, you don't know what you're doing, Edu out, Teta out, your mama out, But they stay calm. They've been talking to Declan Rice for months. We saw all the videos, with Ian Wright, Bukayo Saka, and Declan Rice, talking to each other, the Declan Rice whispering something in their ear and everybody's jumping around. So we knew this was coming. West Ham initially said they were going to sell him for £80 million before their final. Then they're going to win their final and now want to raise price to 120 or some crazy number like that. So I commend the way we went about the business, going in there with the low bid, knowing the player wants to come and knowing that we're not trying to go anywhere close to this new price that you guys just brought. That's kind of taking a piss. You said 80, now you're saying 120. So we said 80, so now we're going to give you 60 if that is how you want to act. I like the way they went about it. 60 plus 15, go back in, 75 plus 15, and wait. See what City want to say. Knowing we already have the player coming to our side. Knowing the player's preference is already us. So why the hell am I going to bid above 90? Without waiting to see what they do first. And lo and behold, they bid the same amount of money that I did. Arsenal had the upper hand throughout this whole process. The whole process. Credit goes out to Edu, credit goes out to Arteta, credit goes out to the Cronkies. I am not fully on your side yet because I need to see more. But this right here, this goes a long way. For every Arsenal fan around the world that have doubted you guys, we greatly appreciate it. Greatly. But we would love to see more before we can fully say we're on the Cronky side. In terms of the deal itself, I expected us to pay around 105 million. Just based on, I would say, the market itself, the players that have been going around and the prices they've been going for in recent times, that was just what I expected it to be. He's their captain, he's the European champion, first captain to lift a trophy like that in 50, 60 years. Homegrown English player. Now that they're still in Europe, we're taking away one of their homegrown to add to our homegrown quota. That's gonna cost you some money. And not just that, he's their best player. So I already knew it was going to be above 100. But I like the way we started out the negotiations. If y'all want to take a piss, we can take a piss too. Come to the table, act like we got some sense, and thrash out this deal. To me, for Declan Rice and for what he's going to add to our team, being a linchpin in the center of our midfield for the next 5 to 10 years, that's a good deal compared to 100 million for fidget spinners and 100 million for Trunks from Dragon Ball Z and 100 million for freaking David Beckham with a headband. Even Enzo, 105 million. Some people can say he's a glorified Jorginho if you want to be real with it. For Declan Rice, I'm taking it. He's a solid player. Very solid. He's going to die for your team. He's going to die for the badge that he wears. Very, very, very consistent in terms of the level of his play. He doesn't even get injured that much. Top 3 DMs in the league right now. I will go with Rodri, Partey, Declan Rice. I'm so excited about having Rice. Imagine having Rice and Partey. I want Partey to stay. I need Partey to stay. The craziest thing about it is that Rivals been praying for us to stay the same way. Rivals always banked on our owners not spending. They don't even have that anymore. Or I would say they don't have that for this year. We have to see for next year. But for this year, they don't even have that to hang their hat on, to say, oh, your owners are going to hold you back this year. They don't even have that. So every single one of them are shaking in their boots right now. Every single one of them. I just can't wait for next year. I just can't wait. It's time for y'all to taste a bit of your own medicine when it comes to us. It's time. Last season in the Premier League. Possessions won, first. Interceptions, first. Total tackles, top 10. Total tackles, defenders, midfielders, total tackles, top 10. Passes completed, 11. Passes completed, 11. For a DM, carries, second. For a DM to pick the ball up, carry it, and run past players, the second most time out of everybody in the league. What should I tell you about that player himself? That tells you that man is more than a DM. That already tells you playing in West Ham 6 is already limiting his potential. That tells you already. The fact that he's doing things that should be done by attacking midfielders and wingers. This man is a 6 doing it. Let's look at the success of those carries. The distance carry, 7.6, first. He's ran the most distance from where he picked up the ball from. Pressured carries. The amount of carries that people were pressing him and he just ran past them. Beating the press. Carries to beat the press. Let's say that. 273 times. Defenders bypassed, fourth. Bypassing defenders fourth most times. Moving on. Now, where do I see him playing? Me? I believe that we're going to start this season a bit similar to the way we finished last season. Because, we're getting some players coming in, but we don't want to make too many drastic changes Just like that. We need to give them time for them to bed into the system and learn their roles. So I still believe we're going to start the season with Zinchenko at left back, Declan Rice in the 8, Partey in the 6. Zini can still invert in midfield to help Partey out, pushing Rice and Odegaard, forward. I want to keep Partey. I don't want Partey going anywhere. If Partey wants to go, he can go. But that's his decision. Just having Rice and Partey on the field, right, gives every Arsenal fan security. Just hearing those names. Martin Odegaard, Rice, Thomas Partey. This will also help us in terms of our counter press. When we're pressing the opposition high up the field to try and win the ball back. Imagine having a press that's initiated by Gabriel Jesus, flanked by Gabriel Martinelli, workhorse, Bukayo Saka, who is no slouch. He's going to do his part for the team. Behind those three, you have Declan Rice, who's number 1 in interceptions, number 1 in possessions won, top 10 in tackles. And you have Martin Odegaard, who covers distance like a freaking madman. Starting your press. You still have Partey behind him. Don't forget that. You still have Partey behind Rice and Odegaard. Just think about the opposition's just think about how we're going to press the opposition. That's why I believe we're going to start like this. I believe Rice can play the 8. He's played the 8 before, as you can see in these heat maps. For West Ham in 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, he played the 8 position. It's just that in 2020, 2021, he played more deeper. So he played more of a left-sided central DM. 2021, 2022, he played more of an, I would say he was more up and down, because the heat map shows he played a lot of this left DM as well, but he played a lot of the left attacking 8 as well. So he played in that 8 position area. Now, when he plays that for us, he might be unfamiliar with the role we're asking him to do, which is why he might need to adjust to that. But the position itself, I don't think is going to be new to Declan Rice. I believe he can play it. If you guys don't think he can, let me know. If you agree with me, let me know. We could play a lineup where we have Tomiyasu and Timber as the fullbacks. We can invert either one any point in time based on the shape of the opposition, based on which parts of the field we need to overload. If it's the opposition's right side that's has less of their players, we can overload our left side. We can invert our left side to overload that area, and vice versa, depending on the shape of the opposition. And I'm sure Mikel is going to tell them all this. Know when to invert, blah, 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 blah. Invert here when you see this. Invert here when you see this picture. This is just another possible option of the way we can play. Another way we can play is Partey at right back. But to be honest, I don't see us playing this as much, because I feel like when Mikel was testing Partey at right back, he was testing it because he wanted to buy Timber. Or I would say that's the reason he bought Timber, because he liked Partey being at right back. So I won't really expect to see Partey play in that position as much. Another reason why I say that is because we really haven't seen Partey full sprint. The only time we can really remember Partey full sprinting was to go stop Anthony against Manchester United at home. That's the only time we really saw Partey. That was the only time we really saw Partey sprint. So putting him on the right side where he has to face all the powerful, skillful, pacey wingers, that might be a bit too much for his hamstring. Even Tomiyasu, who's more experienced at holding those type of players, still gets injured. It's not an easy job. To me, I would prefer Partey staying in the 6. If we can find somebody else to play on the right to invert, do that. Which is why I think he bought Timber. But if Partey goes and we get Caicedo, that's a different story. Because then Caicedo can do that job and still keep up with the pace and still, not get injured so quickly because he's much younger. Now, people should prepare themselves to see this formation. This formation that has Kai Havertz and Zinchenko in the same team on the left side. People will look at this and say, oh, it's not great defensively. True, but I believe that this lineup can work in situations where we're facing low blocks. Not even low blocks, demonic low blocks. We have 38 games next year. I believe we're going to face low blocks in 20 of them. based on the way we played last year and the success of it, people are going to learn from that and we're going to want to play a different way to limit our chances of beating them. So I believe we're going to face a lot of low blocks next year. But in that scenario, I believe this lineup can work. Why? Because in a low block, we're going to have possession most of the time. The opposition is just blocking off their post, trying not to concede. And when you're in that scenario, what do you need? You need your best penetrative passes on the field, and you need your best outside shooters. If you can't break down the block with passing, you have to shoot. If you don't shoot, you don't score. So, Zinchenko inverting into midfield, great penetrative passer. Kai Havertz in the 8, good penetrative passer. Martin Odegaard, great penetrative passer. Thomas Partey, good penetrative passer. I just hope you guys are seeing where I'm going with this. Kai Havertz, not only is he a good passer, he's also good in tight spaces. So he can find space in the low block to be able to make his runs, where we could even find him in the back post for a header, because that is one of the perks of him being 6'3", 6'4", and playing in our A position. That is just like an auxiliary big man that we could use in the box. To me, I believe this will give us the best chance of breaking down a low block. You know, you still have your Gabby Jesus that can dribble 2-3 players and lay it off to Martinelli, lay it off to Saka. You still have Saka that can beat 1, 2, 3 people as well. Saka can even shoot from outside as well. I just hope you guys are seeing where I'm going with this. And even in those low block scenarios, right? As needed, we could rotate our box midfield to make a diamond midfield. If that helps us build up easier, if that helps create easier passing lanes for our defenders to find our midfielders in, we can rotate our midfield into a diamond midfield, just based on the profile and the versatility of the players we have in that box. Kai Havertz, Odegaard, Zinchenko, and Thomas Partey or Declan Rice. We can rotate it to form a diamond. The versatility in our play, the potential is just crazy. The potential is crazy. And on UCL nights, I expect to see a double pivot. We need to be solid defensively first before we can think of going forward. Because in Champions League, every goal matters. It doesn't matter if it's at home, it doesn't matter if it's away. Every goal carries the same weight now. So we have to be defensively solid first, make sure we don't give away leaky, stupid goals before we can look to go win the tie. So I expect to see a double pivot. It could start off as a 4-3-3 and morph into a 4-2-3-1, depending on the situation in the game. Even that 4-2-3-1 can go back to a 4-3-3 and invert to a 3-2-5 for, keeping possession. It's all based on how we want to play it. My personal starting 11 for next year is this: 4-3-3, 4 ball-playing, physical, intelligent, composed center backs. Composed on the ball. Maybe Gabriel is a bit shaky sometimes, but I trust him. I trust Big Gabby. That is my guy. That's my center back. So, Gabriel on the left, Saliba White in the middle, Timber on the right. Timber is going to be the one inverting into midfield to help Thomas Partey in it. While we have our 3 center backs of Benjamin White, Saliba, and Gabriel. Now, look closely. When this inversion happens, look at the triangle that's created. I call this the triangle of doom for any attacker. For anybody coming with a counter press, this is going to be the triangle of doom for them. Timber, Saliba, White. Those 3, all 3 of them secure on the ball. All 3 of them can find a pass. All 3 of them composed on the ball. All 3 of them can beat a player if needed. Now, if both Partey and Xhaka go, I expect to see Rice playing in the 6. I expect to see that, with Kai Havertz playing in the 8. Me playing 4 center backs still gonna work, in my opinion. That's still gonna work, because now you have Rice and Timber in midfield instead of Partey and Timber. You have Rice and Timber. So Rice and Timber in midfield, backed up by Gabriel, Saliba, and White. In your attack, you have Kai Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Jesus and Martinelli. To me, the balance is still good. The balance between offense and defense is still good. My player comparison for Rice is Rodri from Man City. What Rodri gives to Man City and what Rice is going to give to us are going to be similar. And I'll show you why. And this is just to show that Declan Rice beat Rodri for most interceptions. So we can use that next year. Nice. Yeah. So now going into the actual comparisons between Rodri, Rice, and Thomas Partey, looking at the statistics from last season, you will see that they're very similar. There is not that major differences, I would say, in their statistics. So we're gonna look at where it says touches. Now, if you see Declan Rice touches is significantly lower than Rice and Partey's. Than Rodri and Partey's. Me, I put this down to Man City and Arsenal being more possession-based teams, while West Ham is more transition-based teams. In a possession-based team, your six is very important. Your six is going to have so many touches of the ball because he has to show for the ball, receive it, turn around, find the next man. He also has to show for that next man to be able to receive it. If that man is in trouble, find another man. The six is going to have a lot of touches on the ball already in a possession-based. So Declan Rice having 71.3, I expect to see that go up when he comes to Arsenal. In terms of ball recoveries, we've already said Rice had the most in the league. So shots on target, Rodri beats him by 0.2. Rodri, I would say, is better at shooting from outside than Rice, but Rice is good at shooting from outside as well. Chances created, 1.1, and 1, very similar. Passes attempted, you can also put this down to West Ham being more transition. Pass accuracy, 88.5. Through balls attempted, 0.2 to Rodri, 0.1. Partey has 0.4. Passes completed in the opposition half, you can also put it down to the way they play. West Ham is way more deeper. Man City is more on the front foot. You would expect him to be significantly lower than Rodri when it comes to that. Forward passes, 16-19, only a 3 per game difference. You can also put that down to the way West Ham play as well. Duels contested, Rodri has 10, Rice has 8. That is where Rodri beats him. Take-ons completed. Now this is where there's I would say, big difference between the three of them, because everybody knows when it comes to beating the man, Partey is the best out of all three. So for Partey to have an 81%, that makes sense. That's 4 out of 5. He's gonna beat his man. Rice 63.49. So you could round that up to 66. So that's around 2 out of 3 times. So that's just under 2 out of 3 times. While when it comes to Rodri, it's 3 out of 4. So now this is where Rodri beats Rice in when he's taking his man on. Meaning that in 4 situations where he takes on a player, he's gonna beat that player at least 3 times. So Rodri is significantly better at beating the player than Rice is. And when I say beating the player, that could just be a body feint movement to shift past the player. That doesn't mean you're running past those players. Now that's where Rice beats Rodri in. Rice runs past players. Rodri dribbles past players. There's a difference. There's a difference in that. Aerial duels. Rodri here has 2.3 per game. Rice has 1.1 per game. So that's more than double of what Rice does per game. Rice and Partey kind of have a similar in terms of their aerial duels. So it's not something that I would say is a drastic downturn on Rice. He can get better at it. If he's good on it, it helps everybody. But him not being great at it is okay. What he gives us in the other parts of his game makes up for that. So in terms of the statistics, it's not that much difference. It's just in certain things that Rodri beats Rice outlandishly. So they are not that far off from each other. That is what I'll say. And Rice playing for us, Rice coming to our team to play 6 for Arsenal, that will raise Rice's profile. Me, I will not be shocked to see people start saying, oh, Rice is better than Rodri very soon. I will not be shocked if Rodri is going to be in our team and we're going to be winning. Sorry, if Rice is gonna be in our team, we're gonna be winning. Rice, Rodri, they kind of just roll off the tongue. So it's not just in terms of their statistics, in terms of their names as well. It's even kind of similar. There you go. That's intelligent. Driving through midfield now. Switch in the process. Okay. Got that pressure. That guy didn't even see Rice coming. Switch. The amount of time it took for him to lock on that player with his eyes and get the ball over to him took like 3 seconds or even less, and he got it on the dime. Okay. Intelligence. Keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on the ball at all times. Driving through midfield. Lays it off. I can just imagine him laying that ball off to Martinelli. That's a long ball, man. Good tackle. Switch. Read the game. Get the ball back. I like that. I didn't get it the first time. I'm getting it the second time. Ball in. Defense to offense and still laid it off. Defense to offense in 0.5 seconds. He can switch from defense to offense that quick and beat 2-3 people just running through your midfield. This is what you call a box-to-box midfielder. Typical. Not the knee, stupid pass. Yeah, one thing that he has that's really moving me is his long passes. Those long passes are really moving me. Because that is one thing we don't do as much. Arsenal, as a team, we don't switch play as much. We don't switch play. So that makes us a bit predictable. We need to be able to switch play on a dime at will. So we can attack each point of the field as we need to at that point in time. That is one of the reasons why Manchester City is so good, because you can press Kyle Walker one moment, before you get to him, he switched the ball over to Bernardo Silva over on the left wing somewhere. Before you get to Bernardo, he switched it back over to Kyle Walker. This is combined with the interplay. So they still play their short passes. If you succeed in pressing them to a point where they can't play a short pass, they're gonna switch to play. That's what we need to do. So that we can be very unpredictable with the way that we play. Rice, I think I saw a stat somewhere where Rice makes like 4 out of his 6 long passes that he tries per game, and Rodri makes like 5 out of 7. So it's not crazy difference. Good turn, Rice. That ball right there, that's a long ball. For him to make that on a dime, that's very impressive. The distance on that pass, Jesus. Physical. Once he's running with the ball, it's hard to push him off it. It's hard to push him off the ball once he's in his flow. You try to bump him, nah, it's not gonna work. Once he gets that head of steam going, that momentum, it's the wrap. Tackle. Drop the shoulder over the top like that. Line breaking passes. Defense to offense. I don't think people understand what's going on at the Arsenal. I don't think people are deep in it. But don't worry. Next season, you guys will see. Rivals, come see me next year. Arsenal fans, get ready to celebrate. Our golden era is here. All the years of having to sell our best players, having to pay off a stadium, those years are behind us. Now is our time to eat. So I hope you men are hungry. I know you men are hungry. So let's peace, people. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for watching. I'm out.